Previously on Sofa Reviews.
Not the face! Not the face!
And now...
Hi, I'm Dave.
And I'm Matt.
And welcome to Sofa Reviews. Today we're watching Charlie's Angels 2, Full Throttle.
And we might as well start off in Mongolia for some reason.
Well, it's because the bar has just had a Lucy Lou delivered.
And we start as we mean to go on, having a close-up of Lucy Lou's arse.
We see Drew Barrymore drinking, only to cut to Cameron Diaz posing as a Scandinavian.
Getting started quite swiftly on insulting other cultures then.
So a bar on a mountain in Mongolia, full of men, is clearly where you'd expect to find a mechanical bull.
It turns out the Mongolians have taken the T-1000 captive.
Alex springs into action, punching one guy right in the camera.
After more tedious action, they manage to save the T-1000.
They sneak out, only to get spotted by a guard bird.
And because Natalie is the only other woman in the room, they all presume that she's in on it too.
And then this happens.
Thankfully, the Mongolians aren't intimidated by this at all, and send this guy to shoot at them.
They jump out of a window with the T-1000, even though they should be dead already.
So, they steal the truck, use the truck to dodge an RPG and a tank shell, drive the truck off the dam, jump from the truck onto the helicopter that just happened to be on the back of the truck.
You're right, Snap. This is a fortuitous happenstance.
They also blow up the dam, killing millions of Chinese peasants, because Charlie hates overpopulation.
We then cut to another opening montage, similar to the one in the first one. Which, you know, if you'd seen the first one, which you probably should have if you're watching the sequel, you'd know this.
I don't really see why anyone would watch this if they'd seen the first one.
Anyway, we see Bruce Willis. Maybe he could save this movie.
No, he takes the easy way out and dies instead.
Hammer time!
And if you've forgotten, Natalie likes to dance.
The others join in with her, and in case you've forgotten, I hate life.
Natalie's moving in with Pete, and it turns out Joey's still alive as well.
They get contacted by Charlie, and Bill Murray's looking different.
That's Bernie Mac. Clearly Bill Murray had better things to do than make a sequel.
Right, so after a brief chat with the T-1000, Charlie explains their mission isn't over yet.
So it turns out that both Bruce Willis and the T-1000 both had rings. These rings contain information on the witness protection files. However, the trick is they both have to come together in order to access them.
It turns out that one of the witnesses has already been killed, so the Angels head off to investigate.
They get to the crime scene, which is lit up in red for no reason.
Through the power of bullshit, they casually work out that the killer is a surfer with a scar on his knee.
So they head to Alex's house where they meet her dad, played by John Cleese. Maybe he could save this movie.
It turns out that Alex has lied to her dad about what she does for a living. I can't see that ending badly.
And now they're at the beach for costume change number 6.
Demi Moore shows up and starts talking to Natalie.
That's Madison Lee, a former angel and obvious supervillain.
How did you know? I get the newsletter. Of course.
Wait, there's a newsletter? Well, good job on protecting the girls from revenge attacks, Charlie.
We get this oh-so-wonderful conversation between Dylan and Alex as they discuss which of the angels are going to be the first to leave. Because we need more pointless plot points.
So we see Dylan imagining what this would be like, even though in reality Charlie would be long dead by then.
They then steal from the surfer guy while Natalie distracts him with annoying innuendo.
The way I was getting pounded, I'm gonna be wet for hours.
They find out his next target is someone called Leo, so they head off to a bike race.
And now we get a pointless pink cameo.
Rules are, there are no rules.
What? No rules at all? Not even who crosses the line first wins, or you have to use a bike?
After Alex rejects a guy in a carbon copy of a scene from the first movie, Dylan goes to talk to Natalie about Pete.
Where do you see this going?
Well, why not discuss relationships and your abandonment issues? It's not as if someone's about to get murdered.
Luckily they realise the guy in blue is the man they're after.
So the race starts, and the surfer kills 3 random bikers, just to make it hideously obvious what he's up to.
Alex and Dylan go to help and catch up immediately.
You can tell we're rushing to try and save someone's life, because we're doing tricks.
Trick is something a whore does for money.
Giving up on all subtlety, he just decides to start shooting at them. Why he didn't shoot the guy in blue in the first place is a mystery.
And now for the Sofa Reviews prize quiz. All you have to do is explain how this is possible. The winner will receive a copy of the film and maybe something nice as well.
right! This is a violation of the laws of physics.
And now this guy shows up and saves them.
Oh, it's the creepy thing guy. He's looking remarkably well considering he died in the first film.
What the hell is going on?
They saved Shia LaBeouf! As if I didn't have enough reasons to hate this movie already.
They find pictures on the surfer's corpse and it turns out that Dylan is one of them. Yay! She can be the focus again!
After many annoying and tedious jokes about her former name,
You must have been the butt of every joke.
it's revealed that she's on the witness protection program after sending a man from the Irish mob into prison.
Luckily, it turns out cold-blooded murder isn't as serious as it used to be, and he's released after only 8 years in jail.
LaBeouf recognises a medallion that Dylan managed to snag off the Thin Man. It turns out it's the mark of an orphanage that they both happen to go to.
They get to the orphanage, and it's actually a huge mansion. Turns out having parents was holding him back.
They actually used the Playboy Mansion to film the orphanage, which actually makes it the best orphanage ever.
Anyway, we get a brief bit of backstory on the Thin Man,
Although the doctors could find nothing physically wrong with him, he never spoke a word.
and it turns out he's the sole benefactor of the orphanage.
And he sent them a car, because that's clearly what orphans need.
Natalie starts playing about with some bird poo, and yet again it's from a very rare bird that only lives in a specific area.
But we need more random fillers, so we cut back to Alex's home and see Joey meeting John Cleese.
This is actually the start of what is an attempt at a joke, but no time for that now. We need another costume change.
So they realise the dock is owned by the Irish gang because...
Merkin. That was the name of Seamus's pit bull.
Our heroes need to break into the dock. Will they A, use stealth and cunning to get in, or B, get undressed? If you guessed A, why haven't you given up already?
Right, costume change, pointless stripper scene, idiotic men, ID card is stolen, and we get a little bit closer to the end of this movie.
They send Bosley in to pose as an Irish guy, and nothing against Bernie Mac, but I don't really think this is a role he was born to play.
Seeing as it's been a while since we've insulted a few cultures, he just shouts random things at the guy and he gets let in.
Potatoes. Foot and mouth disease.
Bosley delivers a statue that has the girls hidden in. Good to see that Bosley, the ID card, and the last 5 minutes of my life haven't been totally wasted.
So they break out of the statues and get the rings, only to get caught.
I suppose you would walk around topless on your own boat.
And so the whole gang shows up, only for the girls to hit the lights and force another pointless action scene on us, with one of the most annoying, tedious lead-ins of them using Morse codes.
After some ridiculous fighting, they get the rings and manage to escape, sliding down rope on some boards they managed to get from breaking through the ceiling. Yes, I did just say that.
Seamus just jumps off the boat, clearly having a no-fall damage cheat on.
Oh my god, she's got a flamethrower! Didn't we have guns earlier?
Instead of running, Dylan decides to stop and wait for Seamus to catch up to her.
But being a gentleman, he just has a little chat with her and then lets her catch up with her friends.
I'm gonna teach you and your friends about PM. I'm gonna kill them, just so you can hear them scream.
And now we get to see Bosley and LaBeouf playing Cluedo, because we needed more padding in this movie.
You were the cock? I was the beaver.
Wow, cock and beaver. I guess 5 writers are better than 1.
That's Pete's high school reunion. But don't worry, we also get to see Joey and John Cleese again.
For knowing when she'd have to go out on a job. Huh? Some of the men are pretty dangerous. Oh, and the outfits. Oh, boy. Huh?
Ha! He thinks his daughter's a whore, because that's funny rather than heartbreaking.
And back to Natalie and Pete at the high school dance.
I know we just moved in together.
Yeah?
Yeah. And I know we agreed to take this kind of slow. But, there's just something I gotta ask.
Anal?
Before he can ask, however, he's interrupted by more dancing! God, it just makes me want to...
Decorate the house?
What?
Enough of your bizarre urges, Matt. Dylan's left the Angels.
She doesn't want us to get hurt.
So she's abandoning them to their fate, and she thinks this will keep them safe?
They return the keys to the T-1000 until Bosley gets bored and throws keys at him.
This reveals that he doesn't actually have broken ribs. So clearly he's a bad guy.
Alex and Natalie chase after him and hack into his car phone to learn nothing of worth.
Alex hits a rock, so they have to go to Plan B.
And as everybody knows, Plan B is to almost get Bosley killed.
Meanwhile, in Mexico, Dylan meets a cameo which solves all her problems.
So she's back and ready for the fight, which is just as well as the T-1000 gets killed.
And now for the big reveal! Yeah, it's Madison.
Watch my totally necessary flipping in mid-air.
Luckily, Dylan can teleport, and she arrived just in time for this confrontation.
Well, if you are going to attack someone from behind, you do deserve to get hit with the worst special effect in this film.
After more tedious dialogue where they try to tie up all the loose plot strands, Madison finally decides to shoot them, but they even manage to make this look crappy.
You know, if they're actually dead, I'm going to start being nice to people.
Madison then goes to taunt Charlie over having killed the Angels before getting angry at him and shooting him right in the speakerphone.
You know, I like to think that Charlie carried on speaking for a good 5 minutes before he realised.
We cut back to see, surprise, surprise, the Angels aren't dead.
Well, I don't have to be nice anymore.
And now the Angels get soaked. Because comedy!
They manage to work out where Madison is going to sell the rings, just in time to get blown up.
We're treated to a montage of the various gangs of Hollywood meeting up, as well as the opening of Joey's new film.
On the way to the meeting, Seamus has time to question his sexuality.
It turns out the Angels have actually set them all up, and they get arrested instead.
The Kleinhardt Gambit. Classic.
And apparently still effective.
Natalie somehow disarms Madison, and they have a nice little chat.
You know, we never used to wear Kevlar, till I took 3 in the chest.
On the DeSoto case, we know!
She hadn't really talked about the DeSoto case, and if she knew you were wearing Kevlar, why didn't she just shoot you in the head?
No time to consider plot points though. Mindless action!
They start fighting and the creepy thin guy turns up yet again.
But he's a good guy now, and he even gets to kiss Dylan.
And it seems the kiss of the girl that will sleep with anyone means you get the ability to speak.
Enough character development. He's dead now.
Dylan breaks a light bulb into Seamus' face, knocking him off the building and killing him permanently.
Because, as the most intimidating villain of the film, he should be killed off with ease.
Madison manages to fly away from the exploding building while the Angels chase on Christmas lights. I don't think I really need to explain this.
So Bosley auditions for Mr. 3000 by hitting the bomb away from the premiere, saving all the civilians. This means he's better than all 3 Angels combined.
Madison somehow lands directly in a car, with the girls landing quite well at catching up to her. She flips the car, causing Alex and Dylan to fly into buildings, but Natalie manages to stay on.
Seeing as Dylan and Alex are dead now, it's left to Natalie to fight Madison.
After a brief yet annoying fight scene, Madison wins and decides to have a chat with Natalie at gunpoint.
You want to know who I am, Natalie? Then you look inside your own heart.
No, Madison. I'm nothing like you.
I would have pulled the trigger by now.
Alex and Dylan show up and prove that, yes, 3 women can beat up 1 woman. Thanks for that movie. Mystery solved.
They send Madison to her fiery death, recover the rings, and then head off to the premiere.
They manage to change and get cleaned up quick enough.
And so the last 5 minutes of the film is just padding, dragging it out towards the end. Oh, and you get to find out what Pete wanted to ask Natalie.
Yeah, a puppy.
And mercifully the movie ends. In conclusion, this movie is terrible. It's probably one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Whereas the original series was all about female empowerment with competent women doing a job that they otherwise couldn't do in a sexist world, this movie is about tits. It's all about 3 beautiful women getting naked, getting into bikinis, getting into annoying costumes, and just doing these sexy things for comedy and for our own indulgement, rather than having a decent story and decent detective work. John Cleese, Bruce Willis, Robert Patrick, all great actors outside of this and inside of this, but they're wasted. The villains actually do a good job of trying to portray some kind of competence, some kind of menace, but they just get brushed aside.
This film is just a tedious, drawn-out pile of padding. Got loads of rubbish. You've got Bernie Mac in it. Every bit that he is in just feels forced. It's not even particularly funny, even though he's probably the best thing in the film. The Thin Man shows up, even though he should be dead. We get to see character development. And then he just dies anyway, so it's totally wasted and the orphanage is now doomed. Again, we've got the overblown, ridiculous action scenes that just become really tedious and dull. And again, Drew Barrymore gets to be the centre of attention. Wow, that was good. Just like the first film, they have to have so many costume changes. 18 in this film. I think Bernie Mac sums it up best.
This is some bullshit.
I never wanted to dance with nobody but you. Never wanted to dance with nobody but you. Never wanted to dance with nobody but you. Wanna fucking